2.
Welcome to another episode of the Dibbly Dobblers Cricket Podcast. As always, I'm your main host, Callum, and as always, I'm joined by producer, director, interview extraordinaire, dinner lady, shoe shiner, I don't know what else. It's been a long season. I can't be bothered with this list anymore. Andrew, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm not bad. How are you?
Not too bad. As our, well, I was going to say as everyone can see, but as our watchers will be able to see, we're once again not in the same location. Apparently, my work life just likes to be far too chaotic, so we've now resigned ourselves to doing this during my lunch hour. So,
yeah, it's unfamiliar backgrounds for both of us, isn't it? You've got an office. I mean, this is my office as well. I mean, it was my brother's bedroom when we were growing up, this room, but it's my office these days.
So, yeah, completely unfamiliar territory for this podcast in both locations. But we will do our best to persevere and hopefully things go fine. I do think we've already discovered, Andrew, I think you're going to have to do all the reading of any on-screen graphics, seeing as there seems to be a delay in me actually knowing what's going on the screen.
Yeah, probably.
So it's probably better that you just read them rather than there being a 5-second pause and then I try and read them. So, yeah, but
I suppose
we'll see how this episode goes.
Yeah. I think there might be a delay a little bit between our audio as well, but yeah, I think it'll be all right. I suppose just for the listeners and viewers' sake, what we've got coming up today, we've got our usual roundups. We've also got an interview with Aberdeenshire's overseas professional and coach, Dian Forrester. So we've got that for you in a little bit. But yeah, we jump into the results. So it was the final round in the leagues. And we'll jump into the EPL first off. So here are the EPL results up on screen. Forfarshire defeated Watsonians. Craig Wallace signing off the league season with another 100. I don't know how many of them he had this year, but quite a few, eh? It's a very good year, I would say.
Five or six league tons, I think.
Yeah, a lot anyway. Scott Cameron continued his good form with the bat with 62 as they racked up 311 for 8. They then bowled Watsonians out for 171. Jack Hogarth last week said to us that he wanted to make sure he got all his overs in so that he could claim the leading wicket taker for the league. He managed to do that and do that in quite some style. He took 6 for 33 and Jack O'Neill took 3 for 17 as well. The graphic's been up there long enough now, Callum, so you can read through the next couple.
All right, okay. Right, so yeah, we had Arbroath unfortunately finished off their disappointing season with a heavy defeat to RH Storfen. Yeah, just not really a great day at the office again for Arbroath, getting bowled out for 94 in response to 303 for 6, I think. It is quite small on my screen, Andrew. So if I misread anything, you'll have to correct me. Falkland, likewise, I think they'll be pretty happy with how they finished the season as we'll go on in the table. Survival was always their thing. Unfortunately, slumped to Heriots, who got some runs from Hayes van den Berg. And one of the best names in cricket, Mackay Champion, with 47 as well. It's just a quality name. Anyone with champion in their name is just what a way to be. And then Stonywood, likewise, really with quite a disappointing season, aside from that fantastic start, as we've touched on before, bowled out for 154, and Carlton chased that down with almost half their overs remaining and 6 wickets in hand.
Yeah, so I'm looking at my screen and I can see that my camera has frozen on the one that we've got loaded up. So I don't know if that's going to work when we go back on the screen. But hey, I'm going to load the table up so that I can hide that. EPL table final standings. So as you were from last week, isn't it? Nothing has changed at all.
In both divisions that we have graphics for, there are no changes. It was quite surprising.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
sorry.
So, yeah, there we go. So, yeah, Heritage champions are both, unfortunately, relegated. Yeah, and we'll move on to the NEC, and everyone can now see a frozen picture of me because it's not working. But anyway,
we know this episode's going to go really well. It's okay.
Really, yeah, it's technical issues everywhere. It's the same during the interview, but you'll hear that when we get to it. Ah, ho hum. Right, NEC results, and we're looking at the south section first. Meigle, they started their game at 12 o'clock, so an hour before everyone else, and it was not far from done when everyone else started their games. They will Dundee High School former pupils out for 36. Majid Rashid, 6 overs, 5 for 4, and Hayden Guest with 3 for 8. They got there 1 wicket down. I've missed a decimal point on that graphic when I've done it. It didn't take them 93 overs. It took them 9.3. And
no
then
wonder they won. They're cheating.
Yeah, asking them to bowl all day long. Bit of an upset, the next one. I mean, I picked Forfarshire to win, as we'll see later on, but I did not expect them to win by so comprehensively against Perth-Duckett. So Forfarshire second 11 bowled Perth-Duckett out for 68. Fergus Duncan taking 5 for 21. And Forfarshire got there pretty comfortably, 72 for 3, taking just under 20 overs to get there. And Fruki claimed a win against Arbroath United as well. So let's find the other ones. You want to go through the north section?
Go through the north section, not a bother. Right, so we had Aberdeenshire up against Stonywood Dice, and yeah, Stonywood Dice had Jan Stander playing for them. I noticed. I don't know if that was a strategical decision against their neighbours. They thought, let's play him. So yeah, they made 178. It looks like from here, and Dian Forrester got 3 for 28 to round off a good season. But Lewis Monroe decided he wasn't hanging about at all in response and decided he was just going to bully Stonywood Dice bowling attack just to crown off the season. I believe his 107 was off 51 balls.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal ball striking. Just can't really fault it. Huntley wrapped off a very, very good season for them. I think it would be fair to say that when they got 121, it was like, this could be interesting. But however, decided just to bowl Gordonians out for 68 and make it not interesting whatsoever. So that was nice of them. And then on to the final game of the season, where Andrew was hoping that Kinloch was somehow going to do him a good turn. And as I predicted, they didn't. So Strathmore got 207 for 7 off their 45, and Kinloch were bowled out for a misery 57 in response.
Yeah. Disappointing, that one, I have to say. No,
it was great.
Nah, I'm not with you on that. Yeah, onto the table. So Meigle are crowned champions of the North East Championship. So huge congratulations to them. And maybe three probably relegated. Arbroath, we know, are going to be relegated. Dundee High School will be relegated as well. And likely Stonywood Dice 2s alongside them, presuming that Meigle are promoted.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone on a couple. Yeah, we've gone on a couple of times about the fixtures this year and how they worked, and sort of have suggested we're not big fans of it. But I actually think when you do look at the end of season table, you take the EPL, for example, and Heriots ended up being quite a long way ahead. They were the only team on 90-odd%. But you look at the NEC, and we've got 3 teams above 90%, which is fantastic and shows that there was competition all the way through to the end. Even despite the fact that Meigle have finished 4% ahead, it was still all the way down to the wire in reality. it is just a shame that these teams weren't playing each other more often. I know Huntly and Aberdeenshire would have played against each other twice, or certainly had 2 fixtures. I can't remember if both were completed. But I think it does just show you want the best teams playing against each other as often as possible. And I think, hopefully it sounds like we'll get a return back to the sort of standardised type fixture list, but I really hope that is the case, because I think it has been a shame that Meigle and Aberdeenshire and Huntly didn't get another pop at Meigle to try and, register another loss against them to knock them off that top spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I'm just thinking through the scenarios, and actually it will be that bottom 3 will be down. Stoneywood Dice will be down, and it's Kinloch actually that are at risk if Meigle are promoted, isn't it? Yeah. I had got that slightly mixed in my head. No, if they're not promoted,
Everyone knows what you mean, Andrew. Don't
I know what. It's one of those days, isn't it? So I suppose we'll round up our look at the SPCU then, and we'll have a look at the final tables in Division 1 and Division 2. So I'll bring up the Division 1 table first. With all said and done, Falklands crowned champions. Perth Ducat finished in 2nd place. Obviously, they're not eligible for promotion because their first 11 are in the NEC. So that avoids a headache for anyone that could be concerned by that. So yeah, Falkland fully anticipate them to take that promotion. Largo in 3rd, Meigle into the top half, finishing 4th, and then Breadalbyn 5th, who pipped Rossi Priory to that 5th spot. We've spoken about that previously. Glenrothes in 7th, and Dundee High School former pupils 2nd at 11, down at the bottom in 8th. And we'll have a quick look at Division 2 as well. So St Modens won that one with 13 victories from their 15 games. Kinloch 2nd 11, ran them pretty close. They finished just 1 victory behind them. So yeah, and then Fruki 2, Largo 2, Falkland 3, and Glenrothes, much like their first 11, finishing bottom of their division, unfortunately. So yeah, that's how Division 1 and 2 finished up.
So I think we're shaping up for the NEC is going to be good next year, because you as you come on to mention later with Dian, you talked about the fact that Arbroath are coming down. It's going to be a stronger league, and potentially even Meigle staying in it. But you've got a situation where St Modens and Kinloch too appear to have been very good in their league, been too good by the looks of things. And you've got 2, 3, 4 people dropping down into Division 1 from the NEC. And I think there really is scope for Division 1 to be very good next year. But, that's me casting my pitch. Division 1 has to try and stay as Division 1. Otherwise, you're going to dilute the pool of talent, and you're going to just end up with 2 divisions where the top half batter the bottom half week in, week out. So that's my pitch for that.
Yeah. So that's your suggestion to anyone listening as to how next year should look, is that?
Just just things going around the grapevine. We're hearing some silly suggestions, so let's not do that. That'd be
good. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see how it ends up, I guess. Right. Let's move on to the team of the week.
I'll not bother singing it.
I was waiting for it. I'd left the pause for that and everything. You didn't do it.
Well, it's not happening. Anyway. My colleagues might hear me, and that'd be embarrassing. So.
Right, here it is then. This week's team of the week, and Craig Wallace back in that spot where he has spent most of the season. 108 from 101 balls against Watsonians on Saturday. Lewis Monroe, 107 from 51, as you mentioned, and he also took 2 for 23 with the ball against Stonywood Dice's second 11. Sammy Ijaz of Strathmore with 55 from 84 and 3 for 12 from 7 overs against Kinloch. Scott Cameron with performances across the weekend, so 62 from 59. We haven't even spoken about the Scottish Cup final. Oh, dear. That's because things weren't in the right order. But spoiler alert, he also scored 76 from 70 and took 3 for 30 in their Scottish Cup final victory against Ayr. Jack O'Neill, 3 for 17 against Watsonians on Saturday, and then 52 with the bat against Ayr on Sunday. Dupree Stander, 57 from 59 balls against Carlton for Stonywood Dice. And then Jack Mitchell, 30 runs from 40 balls, which doesn't look that impressive, but I think when you consider what everyone else did in that fixture, he was quite comfortably the highest scorer in the game. And 4 for 17 from 8 overs against Gordonians. Jack Hogarth, 6 for 33, as we mentioned, against Watsonians. And he also contributed with the bat against Ayr with 32 from 33 balls. Hasib Kiani, 4 for 7 from 5.2 overs against Kinloch. Another very economical and high wicket taking spell there. There's been a few of them this week. Majid Rashid with another 5 for 4 from 6 overs. And then rounding off the team of the week, Fergus Duncan for Forfarshire's second 11 for his 5 for 21 against Perth Ducat. So there we go. I've got a random pop-up on my screen that I cannot seem to get rid of. So that's doing me great favors. Oh, there we go. It's disappeared. Not being able to change the screen back. It's just not going well today. Not going well at all.
It's okay. Don't worry. Relax. It's Friday as we're recording. The weekend is almost upon us.
Yeah, maybe that's the issue. It's my laptop's gone. You don't make me work on a Friday. What's that all about? Let's go and talk about the Scottish Cup final then before we get on to the player of the week. Forfarshire travelled down to Edinburgh to take on Ayr. They put up 254 for 9 from their 50 overs. Jack O'Neill with 52 and Scott Cameron with 76. And then they bowled out Ayr for 164 in 42.4 overs. Grobler of Ayr was their high scorer with 75 runs and 3 wickets each for Scott Cameron and Michael Leask. I mean, Scott's figures 3 for 30. He was not for 30 going into his last over and then just decided to wrap it up with 3 with his last 4 balls, which, he got rid of Grobler and then just cleaned up the last 2 very quickly. It's good.
Should get a game for it. England doing that because they can't seem to do that ever. So
full and straight against tail enders. What a mad
It's a shockingly made tactic, that is.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like sometimes you knock over their stumps. But anyway, huge congratulations to Forfarshire, who secured the Scottish Cup double, having won the T20 Cup last week. So fantastic to see, and well done to all of them. Right, player of the week. So this week's player of the week, for the first time, is the same as last week's player of the week. So Scott Cameron had another fantastic weekend, 62 against Watsonians and then 76 against Ayr, and that 3 for 30 that we've just spoken about. Another really... I am delighted to be joined by Aberdeenshire's overseas pro and coach, Dian Forrester. Dian, thank you very much for joining us, or just me as it is today. How are you getting on?
No, good. Thanks yourself. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Obviously you have come to our attention by having quite a successful year with Aberdeenshire, and we'll get onto that in a little bit. But I guess first of all, I'd like to speak about about you. So can you tell me just sort of a little bit about yourself? And obviously you're from South Africa. So where'd you play your cricket back home? All that sort of stuff.
So I'm from Pretoria in South Africa. So that is the Titans area where I play. So at the moment I am still studying and I'm playing cricket at the same time. So cricket in South Africa, uni cricket is very, very big. So we play uni and club cricket for the same place.
Right.
So at the moment, that's what I'm doing there. And then I'm also involved in our like county system, but just hoping to break through hopefully sooner or later.
Yeah, cool. And I guess
Mm.
how did you start? When did you get into the game? Have you been into the game from a very young age?
Yes, so I started like playing cricket probably when I was 6 years old. I've always had a desire for it. My granny always used to like tape record when South Africa used to play, and she just put it on TV for me, and I just sit there in the TV, just watch how
Yeah.
they used to play and like dive around in the lounge and stuff like that. So it was since a young age, it was a big, big passion of mine. And then since then, when I could hold the bat, I was just hooked.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets us all, doesn't it?
No, it definitely does. It's a sport that it just keeps on giving. You can be 40 years old, 50 years old, and you can still learn about the game. There's no age where you stop learning about it. So just
Yeah.
shows you actually how a big impact the game has.
Yeah, definitely. And then obviously, this summer you've spent with Aberdeenshire. How did that come about?
So I was always telling my parents I really want to go overseas, but I want to go to England to play because my one of my best mates, he's playing in England.
Right.
And so I went to my coach, and my coach is Kruger van Beek, who used to play at Aberdeenshire.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, Coach, can I play? I want to please go in the off season. I want to go play in the UK. And he said to me, Listen, I'll handle it. I'll set you up with my old club. And literally, I got an email later from Dale, our director from Aberdeen, and he's like, "Yeah, listen, do you want to have a video call? Let's chat about it." And yeah, that's how I ended up in Aberdeen from to go play cricket here.
Yeah. I imagine it's a lot colder than playing cricket in South Africa. Although I suppose we've had a roasting hot summer this year, haven't we? But I imagine that stepping off the
Uh,
plane in April was a bit of a shock to the
yeah.
system.
There's no words to explain it because I was standing there and when it was just when before I freeze, and I was like, no man, like I'm used to cold and like I like the cold, and he's like, but you trust me, this is different. That first 2 weeks, those first 2 weeks, I didn't want to leave the flat. I was so like I had a hoodie, like beanie on, puffer jacket, another big jacket. I was just like, no, I was just not in my element. It was a different feeling that, so I had to adjust to that. But it's like you said, it's been a good summer. Apparently, it's one of the best summers like it's been in quite a while.
Yeah, yeah, it certainly has been. The amount of cricket that we've actually got in this summer is unheard of. I think what you guys have lost one game to the weather this summer. Which yeah,
Yes,
it's extraordinary because obviously you managed to get that first game in at the start
yeah,
of the season where pretty much everyone else was rained off, but you managed to beat the rain mainly thanks to I think you took a five for that day, didn't you?
yeah. No, I did.
Yeah, a nice strong start. So I guess yeah. Um,
Yeah.
how have you found the standard of the cricket over here? We look at your stats and um, you've done pretty well. Tied for first on 35 wickets, tied with your opening bowling partner Lewis Monroe. Um,
Mm.
Third place in the runs with 627, and second in the averages, and just 13 catches to lead the league in that as well. So you've done superbly well. But yeah, how have you found it?
Um, it's been different. So like back home, Kruger always like tries to like train us like professionals because he says that's the way forward. He's not going to train us to be club cricketers. So to come here with a completely different system. So like how I see it, like the standard is almost a bit like less competitive, but it's harder because it's more nippier. The pitches are slower. So it's like a completely different game where you have to adapt to, because back home it's hard pitches, it's bouncy, it's quick. So like it's completely different. So and also the fact is, where back home, every single person in our team can win the game alone. Where here, more people are looking at you to win the game. So it's also a different type of way to bat.
Yeah.
But coming back to the standard, um, it's definitely a step lower that I was used to. But I had to like quickly adapt, because if you don't adapt, you can quickly fall into the system and not actually do what you need to do.
Yeah, I guess that's something that we see fairly regularly, is that overseas players can come over and take that little time to adapt. Although I think there's a few this year. Yourself, you came over and made an impact instantly. You look at Tian Brits at Strathmore, who had an instant impact as well. And the two Aussie boys at Huntly as well, actually. So quite a few that made the instant impact, which is good to see, I guess.
No, definitely. It's like with someone like Tian, who also came straight away, and what's it, you guys said he scored a 60 and he scored 100, and that 100 was against us at the Shire also.
Yeah.
So it just shows you actually like what quality amateur cricketers they are out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think he's a particularly special one, but yes, it does show the standard of amateur players is out there for the clubs to get, which is good. Yeah, so I guess what are your plans from here? Is probably what I'd like to ask you next. So is it back home and then straight into the summer in South Africa?
Yes, so I land on the 12th, and then that Saturday we're playing against the SN19 and Limpopo as a franchise. So playing a T20 triangular series against them, because the 3rd to the 5th of October, if I get picked for it, our varsity is playing in a varsity cup T20.
Right.
So it's straight away back into cricket this summer, and then at the end of October it's our league starts. And then obviously training with our county system if they like want me to train for the 4-day season or white ball season. So that's basically the plans going forward when I get back home.
Cool. And I guess what's your ambitions for the summer ahead then, back on home soil?
So the biggest thing is firstly to get picked for Varsity Cup. With COVID and everything, we haven't had Varsity Cup for 3 years. I had it in my first year and I didn't make the side. So I want to make that very, very badly. Yeah. And then after that, put in a few performances and hopefully knock on a door to actually get a game to play professional cricket. I think that's every cricketer's dream, to be able to say you can play professional cricket. So yeah, just gonna keep the head down, keep hopefully scoring runs and taking wickets, and then get that opportunity to make best of it.
Absolutely.
That's all you can do at the end of the day.
Yeah. And then beyond that, do you think you'll have another overseas winter next year?
I'm hoping to, yes. The thing is, I don't know where I will end up yet. I've loved the Shire. Like, it's been an unbelievable experience, and but I don't know at the end of the day where I will be next year. I don't even know if I'll be allowed to have an off season next year. If the counties wants to keep me there for not coming. But I've loved this experience. It's been unbelievable. So I would definitely recommend anyone to come do it. So I'm hoping to come back.
Good. I mean, that's fantastic to hear. I guess you look across the sides in the league, and you do have a lot of returning overseas players. So yeah, I think most that come across do seem to really enjoy the experience, which is great.
Yeah, I was saying to the guys, it's a different culture, which is so lovely because back home you sometimes forget about what it actually is. It's so competitive all the time. And yeah, you come here, everybody plays against each other. Yes, it's competitive on the field, but afterwards they chill with each other.
Yeah.
Everybody has a drink with each other and you just chat about the game, you chat about everything else. And that's part of cricket. That's how you learn people, get to know people. So that was just great for me to see. So no, it's I can see why people, amateurs and overseas, keep coming back here because it's nice. You experience something different, and the club people, it's also unbelievable. They make you feel like so welcome here. They make you feel like they're family and you're part of their family.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that side of it. I think it's something that doesn't quite exist as much as it once used to. But I do agree that it is the great side of it. I mean, fundamentally, it is club cricket that we're playing, and I think that side of it really has to be prevalent. It is so important. I think.
No, definitely, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess overall, as we said, you had a very, very successful year. In terms of your club mates, you've had a couple. I mean, Lewis Monroe's performed with bat and ball. Kenny Reid scored a lot of runs as well. At the club specifically, I guess Aberdeenshire are a club that have. I think, and we spoke to Kenny earlier in the season, and they are, I suppose, in a little bit of a rebuild mode. They're a club that have historically been one of the bigger sides in the country, and an EPL club. How has it felt this year? Does it feel like the club is moving in the right direction to get back to those that league, really? They're very close this year, obviously.
Yes, I would definitely say so. So if you look at our team, the majority of the times, we were a very young team.
Yeah.
Like the oldest player in the team was Kenny. The next person was, I think, was Clark, and the rest was 22-year-olds and 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
So it just shows you how young the club actually, like at this moment of time, is at the moment. So I think definitely it is moving in the right direction. Yes, we came short this year by one game, which is bad, but it's just how it is. But I would definitely say it's going in the right direction. So it's just like keeping investing in the youngsters, having big off seasons with them where you invest in them and you like show them how to do that. And I think hopefully that's what we achieved, like what I achieved this year with some of the youngsters, just chatting with them and like doing that for them. Because at the end of the day, bringing a different mindset to them, where they also like understand something different, it makes a difference for me also. Because back home, sometimes some of the franchise players play for Tucks, and when they play with us, I always go sit with them and I try to suss out as many things as I can because that's how you learn about the game. But I know,
absolutely.
a 15-year-old's not going to come up to me and ask me about cricket. So you go sit. They're too afraid about it. So you go sit and chat with them, and then say the Shire is moving in the right direction to get back to the EPL. It's just a matter of time when they get back, I think.
Yeah. I think I agree overall. Yeah. I think they'll have a tough job next year as well with our growth in the league. Because you've now got two massive clubs that are going to be vying for that title, and then obviously there's the potential that, I mean, we hope that Meigle get promoted this weekend, but there's the potential that they're still about as well. So it could be very, very tough.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, Bro also has a long history, and then if Meigle not to win this weekend, so that's two strong fixtures, and apparently the leagues are going back to 10 teams next year, so you play home and away.
Yeah.
which makes it even better. Like that's nice and like fair league, so like nice and tough game. So no, it definitely makes the league a bit stronger. But that's what cricket is for. You strive for having good games and tough games all the time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, yeah. Thank you very much for taking the time to chat. It's been really enjoyable to chat with you. I wish you all the best when you head back home, and for your summer of cricket going forward. And we hope to see you again over here in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
And cheers again to Dian for joining, well, not us, but Andrew. And apologies to Dian for having to speak to Andrew. Take it from someone whose years of experience is insufferable. And so much so that for those of you on YouTube, I've just decided to get rid of him.
It's so insufferable that 20 years later, you're still speaking to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, my camera's just stopped working, so you're just going to get a picture of Callum's office there. So
it's not even my office. That's the worst.
Someone's office that you've commandeered. Right. Let's make this last bit quick. What's coming up last,
all of
Callum?
our listeners are thinking as well. Right, so we have got prediction time. We have no predictions for the week ahead because the NEC is finito. It is done. So we will, if Andrew, you can bring up the scores for round 17. And we had Meigle v Dundee High with Meigle winning. Ducat defeat to Forfarshire. So I suffered a loss on that one. Fruki Arbroath, we both won. We had a bit of insider information that game wasn't going ahead. Actually, I had it and very kindly shared it with Andrew. Aberdeenshire and Huntly both won, which we both got. And Strathmore beat Kinloch, which Andrew lost on. So we both finished with 6 further points. So Andrew, bring up the next graphic. Come on.
Yeah, so get to the end of the season and Callum wins by 2 points. So
excellent. Held out at the end. Yeah, do you like your poo emojis that I gave?
I mean, when I spotted them when I was going through the screens beforehand, they did tickle me. I have to say, I did find that quite amusing.
When I was doing that this morning, I found that way too funny.
Oh yeah,
it was quite sad, really.
Yeah,
but yes, so I am victorious. I was never in doubt. You know, I just let you back into the contest. That's all it was. I thought I should make it interesting because you were making it really boring by being so far back. But, you know, and I'm sticking to it. I don't care what you say. That's what happened.
Aye, very good. Right, yeah. So I suppose that gets us towards the end of the episode, but I think there is one last thing that we need to mention is that Meigle are participating in the promotion playoff. For promotion to the Eastern Premier League this Saturday. The match takes place at Fruki, where they face Gala, the same side that Falkland faced in the promotion playoff last year. So if you are at a loose end on Saturday, then get yourself along to Fruki, go show your support for Meigle, and obviously we wish them all the best and hope that they can finish strong and get that promotion back into the EPL.
Yeah, and I believe it is coloured clothes and pink ball, obviously because it's a promotion to the EPL. So the game plays under EPL conditions. You'd have to do that anyway because ESCA and the SPCU do not play with the same playing rules. So that's probably your only real answer to that problem anyway. Yeah. So yeah, and when's the grand final? Is that this weekend as well, or is that? I can't remember.
But I couldn't tell you. We've not got a horse in that race, so I've not even watched. I've not even paid attention to when that is.
Yeah, and I suppose the other bit of information that we had this week is obviously we see the regional stuff is going to be starting fairly soon, and there was the recent announcement that Jan Stander is the Cali Highlanders head coach, and he will be assisted by Harshakuri. So we've got that to look forward to once the I was going to say domestic stuff. It's still domestic, but the club cricket is finished for the season. But
I think that's 2 solid appointments that they've got there. So yeah, it's good stuff.
I would agree.
Cool, right. I think that brings us to the end then. So all the usual stuff, please do reach out to us on Twitter at DibDobPod. Do like, share, and review on YouTube or whatever platform you choose to watch or listen on. It has been a pleasure speaking to you as ever, and we will speak to you again